Okay, so we're going to start with the ribs here, which is this section in the crease pattern. And I've already set up some on one side. I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other side. I'm going to fold the paper over along this line that runs through the middle of them. Only that line is going to be in the middle of two boxes. Okay, and then start to bring together these pleats on the edge and bring them up to the diagonal creases. And use those lines to collapse down the first pair of ribs. Okay. Like this, and then just continue bringing one pleat at a time up to the top. Okay. We have one. Continue on. Again, make sure that you're not creating any new creases. You're only using the pre-creases that you've already set up for yourself. Except in the case of that last rib that gets put together, there's one diagonal that won't be in the final model. A few more before this first section is completed. And if you want to, you can pre-crease this here. That might help. Okay, now we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Everything is set up right. And if you're looking at it, there should be a little extra paper hanging off the end, and this section you're looking at should be the head and neck. Now all we needed to do is pre-crease those ribs. We'll collapse them down later. And you're going to reach inside and pull, and then flatten the model out like this. And now all of the diagonals are set to collapse down easily later when we put the ribs together. So we just got finished collapsing and pre-creasing the ribs. Now we're going to turn the paper over to the primary color and focus on this point right here where these two lines intersect. We're going to take the model lengthwise from nose to tail and fold in half along the central crease. Okay. Now we're going to come to this top edge here. This is the wings, this is the bottom jaw. We're going to start to pleat this from the edge all the way to his chin. You don't have to worry about this small W shape here. Just start inside. And if we're coming at it from the other side, it doesn't quite come to center because there's a few pleats in between. So I'll start it like this, okay? Just come down this diagonal crease here. Each time going down and gathering up one more pleat, bringing it up to the top. And then once you have them working out that diagonal crease, pretty sure this line travels 6 spaces, so it's not too long. The next few are more difficult because they're in the center. Here we've already gotten to the end of that diagonal on this side, and just make sure to do that on the opposite side as well. All of these creases should already be pre-folded in the direction that they're supposed to be going. If they're not, something went wrong. Make sure to fold along the lines you already have in place. You don't want to create new creases, and you want all of these pleats to be parallel folds. So be real careful when you're folding these. Okay, so now we have this sort of level shifted point open right here. We need to take the crease that's just to the left of center, mount and fold that, and fold it over the end here. We only want this flap to be 2 boxes wide, and do the same thing on the other side. Take the crease that's just to the right of center, mount and fold that, belly fold the one next to it, so that our point here is only this wide, and we have one layer like this. Okay. Now this is the bottom jaw. We need to then bring up the top jaw here. So we do that. We're going to alternate back and forth between the two sides. Bring this side up first, and now the diagonal crease is going to start to go back up to the top. Turn the paper over. Repeat on the other side. Get the next diagonal, or the next pleat here. Bring that up from the end. trying to reach. Is the tip of the nose. If anything gets out of line, you want to make sure all these pleats are flush. If it does, just take a moment to readjust things to get them back to where they need to be. I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video, but you can't really use printer paper to fold this model. I've done it before. You can, but it looks bad. You're not really able to shape it very well. You really need to use a large, flat sheet of paper, and ideally you would want that to be two-colored sheet of paper in order to show off the color change that is designed into this model. So some paper that you can practice with, though, large banner paper that's like a 2 foot by 2 foot square. I wouldn't fold this with anything smaller than a 2 foot by 2 foot square if you're using 20-pound paper like that. So now we have half of the nose collapsed, and we can bring up the jaw now. Now we just need to come back down to finish the rest of the top, the nose pretty much, and some of these layers on the side of the face we're also going to use to make the eye, which is just spread sink in the middle of all those pleats on the side of the face. I might be going a little fast here just for the sake of making this video a little shorter. I want to take my time and explain everything that's going on here, but once I feel you guys have the right idea, I'd like to save as much time as possible, because it does take quite a bit of time to reformat the video once it's filmed to get it ready to post on YouTube. So if you do happen to have any questions about folding the model after the video is over, feel free to leave comments below. I don't mind answering questions, and I stay pretty involved with any comments that anybody leaves, either here on YouTube or on my Facebook account. So now we're coming down to the base of the top jaw. So there it is. Now we have the bottom jaw and the top jaw collapsed down. What we're going to do next is the back of the head. So this diagonal is going to start to come back up here. Just want to make sure you're paying attention to which direction your diagonal is traveling and not to create any new creases. So again, now that we've got to this point, it's going to start to go back up. Just keep doing that. Another name for this type of model is called three-step. I want to say it was Brian Chan who came up with that name as kind of a joke, but basically you pre-crease the model, collapse it, and then shape. It's meant to be humorous, but it's pretty accurate. It makes it sound a lot easier than it really is. Maybe it only has 3 steps, but really what it means is that there's not really a sequence to the folding of the model. We've come now to the back of the head, and the diagonal is going to start to travel back down like so. So continue gathering your pleats. We're going to go all the way to the end of the neck. and follow that. I believe it's a 13, travels through 13 boxes. And complete that on this side. So right now we would be in step 2, the collapsing. While I've got a moment here, just looking ahead to future videos after this, I'm going to show you guys how to fold caduceus. That's going to use some white and gold tissue paper, or white and silver are the suggested colors, but you can really use any combination of colors you want. That's going to be a 40 by 40 centimeter square as well, if you want to go ahead and get that paper prepared. After that, I plan on doing a couple of videos, 1 or 2 maybe, explaining. I've had some fans ask me what my design process looks like. How do I go from an idea to a finished model using box pleating? So I'm going to be doing a couple videos in the middle of these tutorials that kind of explain that, and use these models, the crease patterns for them, as examples. Examine them and talk about not river circle packing, but river box packing. A lot of this you can already find in several well-published origami books. But what I would like to focus on in those videos is the specific details of what goes on in my mind when I'm thinking about designing an origami. How I go about designing things. It'll be kind of an explanation of what to look for when you would like to design something with box pleating. Some of the rules that might help with that process for you. And also some of the tricks that I use. By trick I mean like a kind of a unique way to shape a certain feature with box pleating. The wings that I use in this model, came up with that on my own. The wings in caduceus obviously are pretty standard for box pleating wings, feathered type wings. You know, I borrowed that from other models and adapted it for that. With the wings, I'm going to say more like leathery bat or dragon kind of wings that appear in this model, and Smaug and Jabberwocky in slightly varied forms. That's an example of a box pleating trick, or a feature that's unique to an artist. Everybody kind of develops their own bag of tricks, and when you're designing, the more that you've developed over time, the design process becomes easier, because then you can kind of imagine what a portion of the model is going to look like, what a certain portion of that real estate on the paper is going to become the wing, or the eye, or the whatever. Things like claws, horns, that's pretty generic. You're just going to describe a point. But some things, especially when you get into color change, need a little more ingenuity. So I'll talk about that a bit. Okay, we have it collapsed down all the way on one side. Now just continue that along the neck. The opposite side of the model. We've got a lot of paper bunched up here. And I'm trying to zoom through this, like I said, to make the video as brief as possible. I know not everybody is going to need to watch every minute of this video in order to understand it. But I would like to include as much information as possible so that way anyone can fold this model who wants to. You know, I want to make sure everybody has all the tools they need if they wish to fold Ridley. Okay, so got this part collapsed down now. All of our diagonals are valley and mountain folded in the right directions. Now we're going to be moving on.